When Toast came calling, I probably had the same initial reaction, which is this is an interesting time to consider something like this, to consider a software player in the restaurant industry that was super hard hit, and how they saw this role as being a very strong business enabler. Right. And that's why they wanted to bring in their very first CIO. And so the ability to really directly impact business outcomes was super interesting from a future state.
Well, Jason Dunphy, I have the luxury of leading the integrations, architecture, and financial applications team at Toast. I've been at Toast for almost 5 years now.
We talk a lot about how COVID has accelerated digital adoption in a lot of industries, and I think the restaurant industry is no different. So what we saw when COVID hit is obviously restaurants saw a massive drop off in in-person dining that was simply not possible in most of the country and most of the world. But people still wanted to order out. And so there was a lot of shift of the restaurant model from dine-in to takeout to curbside delivery to contactless payments to pickups to integration with delivery partners. And what Toast did is very quickly pivot the product, and we launched a product called Toast Now that provided all these capabilities to our restaurant customers.
One of the big pain points early on was that everything was kind of siloed and single function. We were hacking around things to make it work. It had its frailty because of that. So we kind of built these large monolithic integrations that did a lot of things to get around a lot of restrictions that we had. We want to be efficient as a team. So time to delivery, time to response if something's going wrong, efficient in the way we communicate when something is going wrong, and efficient in the way that we build our frameworks.
Our mission, our focus, which has always been to serve these restaurants that are, often go into the business of restaurants not to make money, but they're super passionate about hospitality and food. And we wanted to make sure we, help them survive and through the pandemic and hopefully come out of it thriving, which is sort of was the whole orientation around how we approached it.
If we didn't kind of step away from what we were doing and have something that helped us achieve a more scalable model, you would have just kept having to throw more team members into the mix to try to uphold it because a small team could not do it. Or the reality was that things would just start falling over, failing silently where you wouldn't see them.
One of our visions is how do we provide actionable insights to our stakeholders? And really the underlying concept is how do you marry all of the data signals coming out of whether it's your product, whether it's your business systems, whether it's interactions that the customers are having on your website, and sort of really create those actionable insights and deliver those insights to the right audience in the right time. And so we're sort of creating this underlying architecture that allows us to integrate and aggregate all these disparate sources of signal inputs and really deliver those actionable insights. And we're taking a use case by use case based approach. We're leveraging Workato to build what we're calling a business systems interface, where we are going to create business services that our product teams, for example, can invoke without having to know all the nitty gritty in our IT applications environments.
We kind of just loaded up Gartner and looked at the top contenders and put it through a very simple proof of concept that was currently a very laborious task for us, that I wanted to see how fast we could implement it in one of these other iPaaS platforms. The ability to control when things do not go as expected, using tools like recipe ops or correct error handling, or even callable recipes to have more advanced error handling. Seeing that and being able to put a small model of that early on out into our production environment and see the level of or the demand of time for maintenance drastically reduced was just another great aha moment.
We went back to first principles, and there was a lot of product innovation to help support restaurants through a lot of digital transformation. There was, very good execution on that. Some of our initial use cases that we're focusing on are really around customer activation and onboarding. So, there's a process between when you buy the product, when you get the hardware delivered, and the steps you need to take to set it up. And so that whole onboarding process, how do we make that more efficient for Toast so we can ramp up our customers quickly?
What is an order that makes Toast happy, and how do we make that flow through all of our systems? Achieving that type of efficiency is really, really important to us, because that lets us become really like force multipliers for our department, for our team.
The restaurant industry was staring at an abyss when COVID hit last year, and the team's ability, the organization's ability to really focus on first principles, which is, our mission is to make sure we enable restaurants to be able to serve and delight their guests and really thrive in doing what they love to do.
We might have started with the Workato platform, cutting over from maybe like 50 or 60 integrations to start with. And now we're, I think, into the near 300 integrations. So, and we've only been on the Workato platform for, I think, about 3 years. When I last looked, we're doing something like a few million transactions, of tasked transactions a day in the Workato platform. I think to succeed for us is to deliver both value to our Toast customers, and then also our team members that help make a really great Toast customer experience. It definitely has made my responsibilities easier since I have started using it. I think it has expanded our access points to achieve what maybe a small team typically has a hard time doing.